Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Saturday. It's time for another sneak peek about what we've got going on at this channel and on our Discord server for the week of October 24th through 30th. We'll begin, as we always do, with taking a look at the astrology. Our sun is firmly in Scorpio, a fixed water sign, so we'll have a lot of energy that's mysterious, intuitive, passionate, absolutely perfect, with Samhain just around the corner. And then our moon, from Sunday to Monday, will be in the third quarter of Gemini, which is a mutable air sign. So think being very susceptible to outside influences, particularly strong outside influences, things being easily changed, lots of free-flowing communication. Quite a change after all the communication hiccups through Mercury retrograde. But also keep in mind that some of that strong influence might not necessarily be in your best influence. So do be sure to think things through, particularly when the moon is resting in the sign. Then, Monday afternoon, I believe, the moon moves into the third quarter of Cancer. It'll stay there until Wednesday. Cancer is a cardinal water sign, so think emotional rapport, growth and nurturing, 10 domestic concerns. The Mercury retrograde that just ended, it did a hell of a number on relationships, particularly marriages and other romantic attachments. So if there's some damage to be done next Monday through Wednesday, that would be a very good time to start sorting out some of those issues. Then Thursday to Friday, the moon is third quarter Leo, a fixed fire sign. So think yourself, central ideas, institutions, the big picture, big stuff, and how you fit into all of it. This is also a time of self-ownership, so if you are needing to assert yourself in some way, Thursday and Fridays are your best bet. Now let's note on Thursday afternoon at 3:05 Central Time, the moon will be going into its fourth quarter phase. Then Saturday we begin with the moon being void of course, and it'll stay that way until 1:09 p.m. Central Time. Then it'll move into the fourth quarter Virgo, mutable Earth. So think accomplishing details, fulfilling commands, schedules, kind of day-to-day, mundane, busy work. It's a great opportunity to just get some routine stuff just out of the way and sorted out. Mercury is in Libra, cardinal air sign, so think communication that's very balanced, eloquent, diplomatic. In other words, a world away from where we were last week. Venus is going to be in Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign, so think very outgoing energy, charismatic, adventurous. Then Mars, from Sunday to Friday, will be in Libra, a cardinal air sign, so its energies will be very creative, harmonious, balanced, good for partnerships, creative projects, things of that sort. But then Saturday, Mars will move into Scorpio, which is a fixed water sign, so think smoldering, magnetic, tough. It'll be kind of interesting to see how that sits with Mars, to be honest. Expect sparks to fly, I'll put it that way. Then Jupiter remains in Aquarius, fixed air, so innovation, invention, genius. Finally, the energy of Jupiter is doing us some good instead of some ill. But if you were needing to figure things out, if you are looking for insight, Jupiter might be your best friend right now. Saturn is also in Aquarius, a fixed air sign again, so think discipline, particularly self-discipline, being persistent, knowledgeable. This is very good for any scholastic endeavors you might be involved in. Then Uranus is still retrograding in the sign of Taurus, so fixed earth sign. Your relationship with nature will be at issue, so if you are needing to just get some grounding time and get plugged back in, definitely this is the time to do that. Also, it deals with financial changes, so be sure to give everything more than the once over. Dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure all the sums are balancing out. And it's also a time of shaking foundations. Now, we probably won't be feeling this influence as much as we did when both Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto were all in retrograde, because I think all of those retrogrades were really feeding into each other. But now that we only have one planet that's kind of giving us a little earthquake, I think it will be less severe. And then Neptune is retrograding, still in the sign of Pisces, mutable water, so it's still that super creative, dream world time to deal with your artistic projects, heightened psychic sensitivity, which is on top of thinning of the veil, so everyone's senses should pretty much be wide open at this point. And it's also a time of hyper creativity, so there's a lot we can do with the Neptune retrograde. Pluto is in Capricorn, a cardinal earth sign, so think ambition, power, logic, prudence. This is a good time for strategizing, and especially if you got really very sick of all of the restrictions on our freedom and just everything that's been going on lately, this is the time to strategize the next move. This is the time to start implementing some ways to push back on the tyranny. So let's make the most of it. And then Chiron is retrograding, still in Aries, cardinal fire sign, resurfaced wounds, working through pain, difficult healing process. That's all ongoing. Point in fact, next month at Blackbird's Brew, just to give you a heads up, we're going to be having a workshop about dealing with releasing old pains, and then after we go through that workshop, which will take place over the course of several weeks, some of us who've been going through that workshop together, we will also then be doing some shadow work. Now, if you want to be part of the group that does the shadow work, you will at the very least have to be going through the entire workshop process. So if that's something that's interested in you and you're wanting to get some old issues just kind of out of the way, dealing with them, kind of coming to terms with things, now would be the time to join in. Come get to know us at Blackbird's Brew. It's always easier to deal with these things when you have a good, strong support network. So that's something to keep in mind if that's of interest to you. Let's see, lastly, we have our Celtic Tree Month. One Sunday through Wednesday will be in the month of Ivy. Ivy is the survivor. Keywords with that are mystery, immortality, portal to the other world, all very appropriate for the Samhain season. But then Thursday, we will be moving into the month of Reed. Reed is the Inquisitor. This has to do with secrets being kept, very deep thinking, honor, also related to different energies of the Samhain season. Not as much as Ivy, but still it is very much in that vein of everything coming full circle and things coming to a head and seeing the results of them. Now, next week's videos. Sunday, we will have Loki and lessons of his modern devotees, because it is very questionable about how ancient people saw Loki and what their dealings were with him. A lot of people point out, well, there's no place names named after him, and there's no temples and blah, blah, blah. Well, we all know the number that history does on the destruction of things, and also the effect that the early church had on many pagan sites. And I was looking into this issue recently, and someone brought out, like, well, there's also not place names named after the goddess Frigg. There aren't, temples erected in the name of Frigg. So just because we don't have any current evidence of what was going on doesn't mean that he was someone who was ignored, pushed to the side, or that all the ancient peoples took the really dire view of him that later people did. So it's something to think about, and also to think about how he's affecting people who have dealings with him in the here and now, because the gods do evolve, and it's important to keep up with where are they now? What have they done lately? Then Monday, we'll be looking at the goddess Rhiannon again in her capacity as Lady of Avalon. I've always been really intrigued by ideas of Avalon and the Arthurian myths, so I think that'll be a fun one. Then next Tuesday will be our Pagan Problem series, and we'll be talking about dealing with death. This past week we dealt with having to administer funeral rites in the capacity of being priests and priestesses of Wicca. But this will be dealing more with how we react to death, how we process it, different ideas regarding the afterlife, uncomfortable stuff. But it is Samhain, and we deal with a lot of uncomfortable things during the Samhain season. Then Wednesday, we will be doing our Journey Through the Tarot series. We'll be looking at the Hanged Man. We'll be examining the card in the Housewives Tarot deck by Paul Keppel and Jude Buffum. And then for divination demonstration, I found something called a Halloween spread. It is super fun. It deals with all the fun, spooky stuff. So it'll be a longer spread, but I think it'll be very enjoyable. Then Thursday, we'll be talking about planning our Samhain rituals. And then next Friday, we'll be having Romance and Modern Mythology, our last spooky couples edition for this year, and we'll be looking at Gomez and Morticia Addams, because why not? They are fun. And then next Saturday, We'll have, of course, the next sneak peek for Blackbird's Brew. That'll be the week of October 31st through November 6th. Time is flying by. But we'll also have a November preview and then a special Samhain 2021 video. Our voice chats for this coming week, Sunday, will be the Wicca 101 chat about witchery by the week, magical correspondences by the day, and we'll be discussing primarily how we take these different ideas that are associated with certain days and use that to build up kind of a daily spiritual practice, or at least it being one of the methods that we could use to start getting our feet wet about actually putting some of our ideas into practice, doing magical things, and getting used to living a magical life. And then next Wednesday, we'll have our last book club for Halloween Customs, Recipes, and Spells by Silver Ravenwolf. We'll be looking at Chapter 7. It's the last chapter. It's called Halloween, A Time to Honor the Dead. Lots going on next week. I hope you will join us at Blackbird's Brew and that you will keep up with things here on this channel. There's a link to join our Discord server in the description box below. And of course, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. But I think that's it for now. I'll see you in another video. Bye.